Okay, so I mentioned in the last video to research switch statements, and I did so with because, like I said, I'm learning Python as we're going. So you're learning how I learn a programming language. Now, every other programming language on earth has a switch statement, and I was unaware of the fact that Python does not have a switch statement. And even what it calls a switch statement is only used in other elements that I don't want to get into right now. So what I thought I'd do is show you what a switch statement is, and then be baffled with you as to why it doesn't exist in Python. So if you've noticed in our Python code, we have a bunch of if statements that we've got in there. So we say if x equals this, do this. If x equals that, do that. Well, in a typical programming language, you have what's called a switch statement. And a switch statement allows you to type switch I. So in our case, it would be x. And then we have a block of code here, and this is C++ code, so you can see that it actually has a curly braces that it puts around its blocks. So it's a little different than, well, a lot different than what Python does. But so we're saying switch x. So look at x in our case. This is I, but look at x in our case. And if you have a case where x equals 0, do this. If you have a case where x equals 1, do this. And if you have a case where x equals 2, then do this. So it gives you the ability to get rid of all those if statements and have a single switch statement that allows you to just step through all the conditions that you expect x to have. And then down here at the bottom is a default entry, so that if x ends up not being any of the things that you actually are looking for, then you're just going to execute the default code in that situation. So it's a way to clean the code up and make it a little bit easier to look at. But again, I didn't realize this when I mentioned this, but Python doesn't actually have this capability. So we're going to stop this video here and move on to the next step.